Parasite, Gu, breeding longevity path, starting from the love-enamored Gu. Author, Thousand Lakes True Person. Chapter 411. Advancing to the late Golden Core, great increase in cultivation _3. The benefits they received were in no way inferior to Zhou Sui's. Their bodies were filled with the immense power of Golden Core cultivation. An extremely pure yang energy seeped deep into their bodies. This made their mana undergo a thorough refinement. Originally, in order to rapidly increase their mana, they had consumed a large number of pills, which resulted in a lot of unprocessed toxins their bodies. This was an unavoidable consequence that every Golden Core cultivator had to face. But now, after obtaining the immense pure yang energy from Zhou Sui, their mana was purified, and many impurities were expelled from their bodies. Such an effect was as beneficial as obtaining a nascent soul spiritual medicine. They felt as though they were drawing ever closer to reaching the nascent soul stage. This cultivation session alone has already increased their probability of achieving nascent soul by at least 10%, an incredible rate of advancement. Countless Golden Core cultivators have depleted their wealth in order to increase their chances of reaching the nascent soul stage. Now, just by one meditation session, they achieved such astonishing results. It was an unexpected delight. Moreover, the benefits did not stop there. A mysterious energy seemed to have spread throughout their bodies, further refining their very cells. As a result, their bodies had become much stronger, and their overall physical conditions had notably improved. Are you awake? At this time Zhou Sui noticed that Chen Tao and others had already woken from their deep sleep. Looking at these four beauties, he felt a deep sense of satisfaction welling up in his heart. Even though they were not as beautiful as Ji Binjiu and the others, what made them special was the fact they were quadruplet sisters. Having four such beauties was simply unbelievable. Young Master Zhou. The faces of Chen Tao and the others blushed, they were almost at a loss for words. You still call me Young Master Zhou? Since we have already performed the ceremonies of Zhou, there should be no distinction between us. From now on, you are my Dao companions, not servant girls. Zhou Sui bluntly said. What? Upon hearing this, Chen Tao and the others were overjoyed. Originally, according to their status, they only expected to become his servant girls. The thought of becoming wives or concubines was a foolish dream. They did not expect Zhou Sui to give them such an identity. Each of them gazed at Zhou Sui with deep affection and their love for him grew even stronger. Young Master Zhou, our status is so humble. Chen Tao, still abashed and hesitant, said. After all, they had always been just servant girls. Even if they had now become Golden Core cultivators, it was due to the grace of the Island Master. If it hadn't been for the Island Master, they would have died ages ago. That's great. Because my status is quite humble too. Just a loose cultivator. Both my parents were Qi cultivators and led short lives. It's just that various opportunities happened to coincide, which led me to ascend to Golden Core. That means we're a perfect match, doesn't it? Zhou Sui spoke affectionately, with a gentle tone. What? Upon hearing this, Chen Tao, Zia Tao, Kai Hu Dao, and Dong Tao felt a surge of warmth in their hearts. This man was simply breaking all the rules, he was not just handsome, but he was also so tender. No wonder so many wives and concubines insisted on marrying him. He was just too adept at sweet talk. An hour later, Zhou Sui and the four servant girls, Chen Tao, emerged from the meditation chamber. By this time, Lang Yuexi and the others had apparently been waiting a long time. Congratulations, Master! You finally advanced to the late Golden Core stage. Upon sensing the aura around Zhou Sui, Lang Yuexi immediately spoke with joy. Oh, did you all already know about the actions of Chen Tao and the others? Zhou Sui blinked his eyes. It seemed like his Dao companions were well aware of what had been going on. Of course we knew already. Sister Chen Tao and the others wanted to use their yin force to help you break through to the late Golden Core stage. This is a great thing for you. How could we have possibly refused? So we created an opportunity for you to cultivate with them. Looking at it now, the results are indeed remarkable. Shen Baiqian said matter-of-factly. Not only did they not oppose it, they actually supported it. Because this would help Zhou Sui break through to the late Golden Core stage, which was a huge opportunity. It was simply impossible to refuse. Countless Golden Core cultivators have consumed a great deal of effort to break through to the late Golden Core stage. Now there was such an opportunity for breakthrough, it was not possible to willingly forsake it. They should not forsake it. This. Although Zhou Sui had spent nearly 100 years in this world, he was still a bit unaccustomed to the world values and culture. Apparently, in this world, cultivation was the most significant aspect. The pursuit of a higher realm, more longevity, was an absolute priority. Anything done in service of that was considered perfectly reasonable. This was the mindset of cultivators who had chosen the path of cultivation. Therefore, from the beginning, the values of these eternal cultivators differed greatly from ordinary people. It was just giving up some of their yin force. It wasn't such a difficult decision. Once you've advanced to the late golden core phase, I'm afraid it won't be long before you can try cultivating a nascent soul. You may even achieve your nascent soul faster than me. Lang Yuexi spoke somewhat helplessly. Her cultivation stage was still at the mid-golden core stage and it would be impossible for her to break through in a short amount of time. You must know that when she first met her husband, she was in the latter stages of foundation establishment while he was just at the qi cultivation stage. There was quite a gap in their cultivation. Chapter 412. Advancing to the late golden core, great increase in cultivation _4. But now, barely a few decades had passed, and her husband Zhou Sui had surpassed her, becoming a late golden core cultivator. His pace of cultivation progression was just too fast. One could only say that her husband truly was an extraordinary genius. Yes, if Zhou Sui succeeded in forming his nascent soul, that would mean our Tri-Star Island group truly is as unshakable as a mountain. Even if nascent souls of Haisha Palace or even the Sea Clan launch an all-powerful attack, they won't be able to do anything to us. Lin Yazhu lamented. Truth be told, that was a significant reason she hoped her husband would quickly improve his cultivation. Owing to the appearance of the divinity transformation legacy, this sea area was destined to become increasingly dangerous and filled with ever more nascent souls. While she fortified this place with herself and the fourth stage formation, regular nascent souls didn't dare to invade it. But if her husband Zhou Sui advanced to the nascent soul realm, that would truly solidify our position. After all, she was well aware of her strengths and weaknesses. Even if she advanced to the early stage nascent soul, there wouldn't be much of a difference from the regular nascent souls, maybe she would be a bit more powerful. But if her husband Zhou Sui truly advanced to nascent soul, that would be enough to sweep away all enemies. He would be unmatched by regular nascent soul cultivators. Therefore, whenever there was a chance, she naturally had to help her husband break through as quickly as possible. Moreover, these four golden core women cultivators, wanting to repay their gratitude, volunteered. Even more reason not to refuse. Yes, and with Chen Tao and the others joining our immortal mist city, the power of our immortal mist city will greatly increase. When other cultivators see our strength, they would dare not act rashly. Our position in the Tri-Star Island group will also be further cemented. Ji Binjiu nodded in agreement. She felt that previously, people like Chen Tao were not truly part of Immortal Mist City. It's only after they become Zhou Sui's wives that they can be counted as true family and everyone would trust them. Without a doubt, this was a great opportunity for them to officially join the Immortal Mist City. From a certain perspective, this could be considered a case of killing two birds with one stone. All right. Zhou Sui blinked his eyes. What else could he say? After all, if his Dao consort agreed with Chen Tao and the others, then he could only accept it untroubled. For him, the advantages were numerous. He could only say that his Dao companion was really understanding. A few days later, what transpired in the Tri-Star Island group spread across the Wuji Alliance like a hurricane. Immediately, it became known to many nascent soul elders in the Wuji Alliance and caused great commotion. What did you say? A nascent soul woman cultivator was born in the Tri-Star Island group. And she even killed two nascent soul cultivators from Haisha Palace. Hearing these words, Daoist Unlimited, the alliance hierarch of Wuji Alliance was taken aback. He was originally plotting to eliminate the Sea Clan and had not expected such a major incident to occur. Yes, this is the information sent back from the Tri-Star Island group. The people who died were Feilian Ancestor and Fire Cloud Ancestor, and their corpses were ground to dust. The cultivator who advanced to nascent soul is Lin Yazhu, the sect master of King Mu sect who joined our Wuji Alliance a few decades ago. She herself is a late golden core cultivator. After these years, she might have encountered many opportunities, and as a result, has naturally advanced to nascent soul. A golden core manager quickly relayed the information he had. After all, word of this situation had already spread amongst everyone in the Tri-Star Island group. How is that possible? Not only does advancing to the nascent soul realm require a nascent soul pill, it also requires a nascent soul spiritual material, and a fourth stage spirit vein. If she stayed in the Tri-Star Island group, how could there possibly be a fourth stage spirit vein? A nascent soul elder expressed his disbelief. This situation felt too sudden for him. Well, it is said that the Tri-Star Island group contained a fourth stage spirit vein and a fourth stage formation. Relying on that fourth stage formation, that sect master of King Mu sect was able to kill Phalian ancestor and Fire Cloud ancestor. The Golden Core manager continued speaking. I see, so a new nascent soul was able to kill two established nascent soul demon cultivators because she drew upon the power of a formation? All the nascent soul elders nodded in understanding. If that was the case, it made complete sense. After all, defeating a nascent soul cultivator is relatively easy, but killing one is extremely difficult. Because at a critical moment, the opponent can separate from their nascent soul and flee in an instant. When that happens, it is impossible to catch them. Therefore, it is indeed very difficult to kill a nascent soul cultivator. But setting up a fourth stage formation probably isn't simple. It must have taken decades of effort. How did the sect master of the King Mu sect manage to do it? A nascent soul elder wondered. If one truly wants to set up a fourth stage formation, a grand ceremony is needed with the cooperation of many array masters. Only after about 10 years could it possibly succeed. However, there were no signs of such activities before, which was indeed mind-boggling. If my guess is correct, that fourth stage formation might be a relic left behind by the Tri-Star Island group. Don't forget, there is a divinity transformation legacy near the Tri-Star Island group. Deist Unlimited hinted. As soon as he had said this, the eyes of the nascent soul cultivators present flashed with understanding. They weren't fools and quickly grasped the meaning of Deist Unlimited's words. I understand the meaning of the Alliance Hierarch. The King Mu sect resides in the Tri-Star Island group. Chapter 413. Advancing to late Golden Core, great increase in cultivation _5. They unintentionally stumbled upon an ancient ruin. This ancient ruin could possibly be what's left of the Kurong sect. Within, there wasn't just a fourth stage spirit vein, but also a fourth stage formation and even a nascent soul spiritual item. The sect master of King Mu sect used this place to successfully form his nascent soul. A nascent soul cultivator apparently figured it out. He felt that he had successfully guessed the opportunity that the sect master of the King Mu sect, Lin Yazoo, had stumbled upon. If she had not found the ancient ruins at the Tri-Star Island group and obtained resources to form the nascent soul, how could a mere foreign cultivator be promoted so smoothly to the nascent soul stage? No way, this female cultivator is exceptionally lucky. She randomly chose an island to live on and happened to discover an ancient ruin. Honestly speaking, I think this guess is highly probable. The region around the Tri-Star Island group is where the divinity transformation ruins are, but who can say that there's only one ruin? Perhaps a lot of Kurong sect's ruins remain in those seas. Damn it, I had also been to those seas before, why didn't I find anything? That's called good fortune. Those with great fortune tend to have things go smoothly for them. Clearly, the sect master of the King Mu sect is a person with great fortune, which is why he could form his nascent soul so easily. The nascent soul elders were filled with envy and jealousy. Normally, a foreign golden core cultivator forming a nascent soul would be near impossible. The golden core realm was usually the limit. To progress further, one needed to win the appreciation of the nascent soul elders, serve diligently, gain a substantial number of contribution points, and then he would have a chance to exchange them for a nascent soul pill to advance to the nascent soul realm. But now? Some cultivators didn't need to do all these troublesome things at all. Just by relying on their own opportunities, they broke through many bottlenecks and successfully formed their nascent souls. The only explanation was that this sect master of the King Mu sect truly possessed great fortune. Alliance Hierarch, what should we do now? Someone looked at Deist Unlimited, wanting to know his next move. What else can we do? Since she's a member of our Wuji Alliance, we naturally invite her to become an elder in our alliance. To our Wuji Alliance, whoever cultivates to nascent soul means more fighting power for us. Cultivators as powerful as she is, the more the better. Deist Unlimited said calmly. He wasn't envious of the so-called treasures of the ancient ruins. Because he was already a cultivator at the nascent soul late stage, only one step away from the divinity transformation realm. Items that could truly let him break through to the divinity transformation realm were all but a few. Most likely the only place he could find those items would be at the Divinity Transformation ruins. Ordinary ancient ruins probably wouldn't be of much use to him, so he naturally wouldn't harbor any desire for them. Yes, Alliance Hierarch. Upon hearing that, the nascent soul elders nodded. They also had known Deist Unlimited's decision early on. The Wuji Alliance was essentially a loose practitioner alliance, so the restrictions on its members were not very severe. Everyone only gathered to form a group to resist the other nascent soul forces. Therefore, they naturally held a friendly attitude towards this newly minted nascent soul cultivator. After all, the Wuji Alliance had lost several nascent soul elders in their previous war with the Sea Clan. This was the perfect chance to make up for it. Not long after, this nascent soul conference came to an end. In the large conference room, only Deist Unlimited and Master Peach Blossom were left. I heard that you recently sent your servant girl to the Tri-Star Island group. Is this true? Deist Unlimited looked at his daughter, Master Peach Blossom. Father, when did you start to care about such trivial matters? Master Peach Blossom raised an eyebrow. This is no small matter, but a matter concerning my daughter's future. Apparently, you sent your servant girl to be with a man. And this man has even visited your Peach Blossom Island. Is this true? Deist Unlimited seemed very angry. Of course, when he heard about it, he almost had a heart attack. His daughter actually had a relationship with another man without his knowledge. He felt an initial sense of pain as if his daughter were being taken away by another man after all these years of raising her. At the thought of this, he was filled with anger. Indeed it is. But it doesn't have much to do with you, does it, father? Master Peach Blossom spoke solemnly. How is it not related? The man you like is just a golden core cultivator. And he already has a cultivation partner. How could you fall for such a man? I even heard that guy is just a pretty boy living off women's money. He managed to cultivate to the golden core realm by currying favor with other golden core female cultivators. Deist Unlimited gritted his teeth. He didn't know what else to say. If the man his daughter liked was decent, he was willing to grit his teeth and accept it. But who would have thought that the man his daughter liked had a cultivation partner and even several others? He was already a married man and Deist Unlimited found this rather unbearable. Why should his pure and innocent daughter be someone else's concubine? This was simply unreasonable. The most infuriating part was that the man was just a pretty boy living on women's money. Clearly, that pretty boy got close to his daughter with ulterior motives. Father, you don't understand him. He's not some pretty boy, but a true hero. If it weren't for him, I wouldn't be alive now. Master Peach Blossom was very unhappy. She knew that her father must have personally investigated Zhou Sui. Otherwise, he couldn't have known so much. But no one knew Zhou Sui's genius better than she did. Looking at all the male cultivators in the Wuji Alliance, none of them could match him. What? Hearing this, Deist Unlimited was so angry he nearly vomited blood, his face turning green. What do you mean? I don't understand him. Is this the sweet little daughter he used to know? She's completely taken on the shape of that man. What kind of love potion did that despicable pretty boy feed his daughter? Father, I'm warning you, don't do anything to him. Otherwise, I'll get very angry and I'll never speak to you again in this lifetime. Master Peach Blossom huffed, then turned and left. She didn't want to discuss this issue with her father anymore. After all, there wouldn't be any result. Chapter 414. The Fury of the Haisha Palace _1. Damn. Watching his daughter, Master Peach Blossom, leaving, Deist Unlimited felt increasingly sorrowful. It seemed to him that his beloved daughter was getting further away from him, but there was nothing he could do about it. Whoosh! At that moment, a man in black appeared in front of Deist Unlimited, his aura seemingly merged with the emptiness around him as if it had completely vanished. It was Deist Liu Feng, who was at the core of Deist Unlimited's most trusted subordinates and the head of the most significant intelligence organization in the Wuji Alliance. He had reached the stage of nascent soul's midterm development. What do you think of that lad you've investigated? Is he reliable? Deist Unlimited asked. Ever since he became aware of Zhou Sui's presence, he immediately sent Deist Liu Feng to investigate everything about Zhou Sui. After all, this is the very man his daughter fancied, how could he not thoroughly investigate? To be honest, this Zhou Sui is very mysterious. Despite being accompanied by several companions, he is not frivolous. He usually stays on Immortal Mist Peak, devoting himself to cultivation and rarely descends the mountain. It is rumored that he comes from a loose cultivator background but managed to establish his foundation by courting the sect master of Immortal Mist sect, Lang Yuexi. Moreover, this man is extremely charming. Several female cultivators at the Golden Core stage willingly offer themselves to him. Even the recently promoted nascent soul female cultivator, Lin Yazu, is also his companion. In other words, he is the real controller of Immortal Mist City. Deist Liu Feng announced in a deep voice and shared all kinds of information he had gathered. Frankly speaking, he was intrigued by Zhou Sui. This man seemed mysterious, as if he held big secrets. This is just common knowledge. Can anyone inquire about such things? Haven't you tried to get closer to that lad and find more secretive news? Deist Unlimited was disgruntled. I also wanted to approach Immortal Mist Peak. But when I got close, I had an ominous feeling. It seemed like if I entered, it would be the end, so I decided to give up. Deist Liu Feng helpless explained. He too wanted to probe deeper into Immortal Mist Peak. But he realized he had underestimated this place. His divination skill, which he had been cultivating, could predict fortune and danger. This skill alerts him whenever he faces a life and death situation. With this skill, he had managed to escape countless crises. But as he approached Immortal Mist Peak, it gave him a chilling feeling, as if a disaster was imminent. So, he decisively escaped and dared not to get close again. What do you mean? Are you saying that even you cannot handle Immortal Mist Peak? Deist Unlimited was taken aback and found it hard to believe. He knew Deist Liu Feng's abilities very well. If he wanted to escape, even Deist Unlimited himself wouldn't be able to stop him. However, now this fellow was afraid of approaching Immortal Mist Peak. It was truly beyond comprehension. That's right, at first, I was puzzled as to why I was having such a feeling. But when I learned about the deaths of the old Flying Ancestor and Fire Cloud Ancestor, I finally understood. That sea area was set up with a top-class 4th stage formation, with immense power. If I set off Immortal Mist Peak's cultivators, I will be completely stuck there. Even if I'm proficient in the escape technique, it would be of no use. Deist Liu Feng shared his speculation. A top-class 4th stage formation? Does the Immortal Mist sect have such profound resources? Or have they stumbled upon an ancient relic and mastered that 4th stage formation? Deist Unlimited could hardly believe it. Because a top-class 4th stage formation was the most potent formation in the current Kanglan Sea area. Even the formations protecting the headquarters of the 5 major nascent soul forces were also only top-class 4th stage. With this top-class 4th stage formation, it was enough to resist a large army and ensure that the inheritance could continue for tens of thousands of years with no worries. One could imagine how extraordinary this formation was. Even him wouldn't dare to break into it. Just a moment of carelessness could mean death. It's unclear, but what I can confirm is that they've taken complete control of the 4th stage formation. And the array master controlling the 4th stage formation is none other than Zhou Sui. His formation cultivation level is impressive, perhaps already reaching the level of a 4th stage array master. The previous deaths of Feilian Ancestor and Fire Cloud Ancestor may have been down to this man's support. Deist Liu Feng spoke in a solemn voice. So it seems, this fellow is indeed not as simple as we imagined. No wonder he's won the favor of so many female cultivators, even having them actively pursuing him. Deist Unlimited raised his eyebrows slightly, his recognition of Zhou Sui slightly increased. Such is the reality of the cultivation world. Those with strength will always earn respect. If one possesses the cultivation level of a 4th stage array master, one's status and power would be on par with that of a nascent soul ancestor. Alliance Hierarch, I think it is best if you stay out of this matter. Your daughter is now over 500 years old. Who she has taken a liking to is up to her to determine. Deist Liu Feng said helplessly. Shut up. No matter if she's over 500 years old or 1000 years old, she's still my daughter. But let's put it aside for now, let's deal with those Sea Clan cultivators first. After dealing with the Sea Clan nascent soul cultivators, then we can have a talk with that young man. Deist Unlimited spoke through gritted teeth. At this moment, in the Haisha Palace, many nascent soul ancestors gathered together, their faces solemn. Damn it, the 2 useless Feilian Ancestor and Fire Cloud Ancestor were actually slaughtered by a newly advanced female nascent soul from the Wuji Alliance. They'd bragged about their military prowess in front of me. The palace master of Haisha Palace cursed loudly, clearly angry. Up until now, 4 nascent souls from the Haisha palace had died. Even for a nascent soul sect like theirs, this was a heavy loss that would create a huge power vacuum. It would take a considerable amount of time to recover. Palace Master, what should we do now? Should we take revenge on the Wuji alliance? A nascent soul ancestor asked. Revenge? Is it the time to take revenge on the Wuji alliance? The ruins of the ancient Kurong sect have appeared. It's a great opportunity for us. In such ancient ruins, there are bound to be countless treasures. There might even be spiritual medicines that can aid us in advancing to the divinity transformation. Engaging the Wuji alliance in battle now will only benefit other sections. Even if we were successful in taking revenge on the Wuji alliance, we wouldn't gain much additional benefit. It will merely be an act of venting. There is absolutely no sense in that. Haisha Palace's palace master was brutally candid. He was never the type to let his anger cloud his judgment. He knew very well the difference between what is important and what isn't. Even though they had lost 4 nascent soul elders, he was ready to let go for the sake of a greater good. Nothing was of greater importance than the ruins of the Kurong sect at this point. You're right. If our Haisha Palace can obtain a divinity transformation spiritual medicine in the ruins, and our Haisha Palace gives birth to 1 divinity transformation cultivator, we could immediately sweep across the entire Kanglan Sea. By then, not to mention annihilating the Wuji alliance, even unifying the whole Kanglan Sea wouldn't pose much of a problem. Our main goal now is still those ruins. The many elders of the nascent soul stage from Haisha Palace began to chit-chat. All had an excited expression on their faces. For them also, this was an unprecedented opportunity. So no matter what, they would absolutely not miss it. As cultivators of the demonic path, who were naturally cold-blooded, they felt nothing for the death of Fire Cloud Ancestor and the others. If they truly wanted to take revenge on the Wuji alliance, it's merely an excuse for starting a war. Right now, the gains wouldn't make up for the loss, so they don't want to seek revenge any longer. Chapter 415 Advanced Nascent Soul Body Cultivation, Dragon Elephant Heart _1. A dozen or so days later, a flying boat flew over from Wuji Island. In it were Kongqing Old Ancestor, Elder Yunhua, and Shangguan Old Ancestor, 3 early-stage nascent soul cultivators. They had received orders from the Wuji alliance and had arrived to discuss with Lin Yazu about joining the alliance. In not much time, under the guidance of disciples from the 3 sects, a group arrived at the main hall of Immortal Mist Peak. The moment they arrived, they sensed the incredibly dense nature's spiritual energy encompassing the entirety of Immortal Mist Peak. The density of spiritual energy here was no less than that of Wuji Island. This place actually possesses a 4th stage spirit vein. And this is not just an ordinary 4th stage spirit vein, but a top quality 4th stage spirit vein. What unbelievable luck the sect master of King Mu sect possesses. This random island she found actually contains a top quality 4th stage spirit vein. It's simply heaven-defying. Hehe, it's not merely a 4th stage spirit vein, but they also control a 4th stage 7th order formation. With this formation, the Tri-Star Island group is as secure as a mountain, and no one dares to invade the sea area. It's a foundation that could last for all eternity. Kongqing Old Ancestor, Elder Yunhua, and Shangguan Old Ancestor, the 3 nascent soul cultivators, were communicating through divine consciousness transmission. They were filled with envy and resentment. They hadn't expected that a mere foreign woman cultivator would come to possess such a blessed land. Even they, who had long been established as nascent soul cultivators, only occupy 1 mountain on Wuji Island, thus only enjoying the benefits from the top-quality 4th stage spirit vein. Wanting to monopolize a 4th stage top-quality spirit vein was almost impossible. They lack both the opportunity and ability to do so. But now, Lin Yazu has accomplished what they could only dream about. You can imagine their intense feelings of jealousy at this moment. Of course, as cunning old foxes, they would naturally not reveal such jealousy. Friends Kongqing, Yunhua, and Shangguan, your visit to our Tri-Star Island group truly brightens our sea region. At this time, Lin Yazu also came out, accompanied by Zhou Sui. The other deists naturally didn't quite fit this scene and didn't need to show up. Looking at the 3 nascent soul ancestors, she was somewhat emotional internally. Several decades ago, if she had encountered these 3 nascent soul ancestors, she would probably have been trembling in fear and would only refer to them as seniors. But now, almost in the blink of an eye, she was on equal footing with these centuries-old creatures. Times have certainly changed, the world had undergone rapid transformations. Congratulations, Deist Lin, on advancing to the nascent soul stage. It is said that Deist Lin is only a little over 300 years old. Truly a promising talent. Perhaps in the future, you'll have the opportunity to advance to the divinity transformation stage, thus ascending. Kongqing old ancestor complimented. His manner was humble, as for someone like him who has lived for hundreds of years, he naturally wouldn't risk offending any fellow nascent soul cultivator. Making one more friend is better than making one more enemy. Such behavior is only demonstrated by hot-headed youths. Deist Kongqing, your praise is undeserved. Who knows when I'll be able to advance to the divinity transformation stage? The stage of the nascent soul cultivator is too difficult. I would be perfectly content if I could advance to the nascent soul late stage. Lin Yazhu sighed. She increasingly felt the difficulty of nascent soul cultivation, it simply wasn't on the same level as the golden core realm. If it hadn't been for the assistance of the fourth stage treasure pill, even if she cultivated rigorously for decades, she wouldn't be able to significantly increase her nascent soul mana. No wonder nascent soul ancestors are often in seclusion for decades or even hundreds of years. They were left with no choice. In that case, would Deist Lin be interested in exploring with us? To explore the now emerged divinity transformation relic. It is rumored to be a relic belonging to ancient Kurong sect, which might still contain a large number of fourth-stage treasure pills, 1,000-year-old spiritual medicine, 10,000-year-old spiritual medicine and so on. As long as we can get some of it, it would be enough to compensate for our hundreds of years of bitter cultivation. Elder Yunhua invited her generously, hoping to invite Lin Yazhu to join the exploration of the Kurong sect relics. Frankly speaking, his intention to invite Lin Yazhu was based on the fact that she had just advanced to the early stage of nascent soul. Compared to them, who are long-established early-stage nascent soul cultivators, she was exceptionally far behind. The fact she got rid of Flying Lian Ancestor and Fire Cloud Ancestor was due to the might of the fourth-stage formation only. Once she leaves this sea area, she will be back to her original state. Therefore, he was not worried about her trying to seize the limelight. Explore the divinity transformation relic. Right now, our Wuji alliance is facing the threat of the Sea Clan cultivators. If we don't resolve the issue of the Sea Clan cultivators, how can we explore the divinity transformation relic in peace? Lin Yazhu asked. Haha, Deist Lin, rest assured on this point. This time, Suanbao Tower, Tianjian sect, Piao Miao Palace, Sunset sect, even the Sky Demon sect, and other nascent soul sects have joined hands to help our Wuji alliance fight against the Sea Clan cultivators. Those Sea Clan cultivators were arrogant and reckless before, they were just taking advantage of the internal conflicts of our human clan. Now that the divinity transformation relic exists, various human clan nascent soul forces are starting to unite. The insignificant Sea Clan is not worth mentioning, they will soon be dealt with by us. Shangwen's old ancestor declared arrogantly. He was not belittling those Sea Clan cultivators because facts spoke for themselves. The Sea Clan had been in decline for tens of thousands of years. During this period, the human clan had been in its heyday, continuously producing nascent soul cultivators, and acquiring vast amounts of resources. Chapter 416. Advanced Nascent Soul Body Cultivation, Dragon Elephant Heart _2. Therefore, when considering the overall strength, the Sea Clan could never match up to the human clan. The Sea Clan can only survive by hiding in the deep sea and relying on the geographical advantages it offers. If the major nascent soul powers within the human clan weren't harboring ill intentions towards one another, the Sea Clan would have been eliminated long ago. It wouldn't be their turn to be so rampant. The relationship between the human clan and Sea Clan is quite similar to that of the Central Dynasty and the nomads during Zhou Sui's previous life. When the Central Dynasty was thriving, the nomads would hide away deep in the plains. They would escape the pursuit of the Central Dynasty's armies by utilizing the boundless plains. However, once the Central Dynasty had maintained peace for several hundred years, and the local areas had been quiet for some time, with their military greatly decayed, those nomadic soldiers would gradually recover their vitality and start raiding, pillaging, and invading the borderlands once more. This cycle would repeat itself. The current situation followed the same logic. The Sea Clan, taking advantage of the nascent soul late-stage cultivators they had given birth to and believing their strength had greatly increased, intended to raid, plunder, and seize territory. Little did they know that the human clan's depth was beyond their comprehension. So, the calamity brought by the Sea Clan will soon be settled. Lin Yazhu had a thought. If this is truly the case, this can be a blessing in disguise. At least the Tri-Star Island group will be completely safe. Of course, lacking the refugees from the northern seas. The growth of Immortal Mist City may slow down. But compared with safety, this is nothing. Thank you, friends, for informing us. Do we need to partake in this battle? Lin Yazoo asked curiously. Now that she had disclosed her cultivation levels, she would naturally attract the attention of the numerous nascent souls within the Wuji Alliance, and may be forced to participate in the operation to exterminate the Sea Clan cultivators. Honestly, after being influenced by Zhou Sui's several teachings, she didn't want to participate in such a dangerous operation. Even with considerable gains on offer, she didn't want to get involved. After all, who knows what accidents might occur. If she were not careful, she might perish on the battlefield, which would be a loss greater than the gain. After all, she had just advanced to the nascent soul stage. No, not at all. In fact, those who will truly determine the outcome of this war aren't early-stage nascent soul cultivators like us. It's those powerful late-stage nascent soul cultivators. One late-stage nascent soul cultivator is equal to a dozen or more mid-stage nascent souls. Their power is unimaginably stronger. We can do no more than cheer from behind. Kongqing Old Ancestor shook his head. I see. Upon hearing this, Lin Yazoo instantly felt relieved. Friend Lin, what do you think of our proposal just now? Given the time, it won't take too long to resolve the threat of the Sea Clan. By then, we will collectively explore this divinity transformation site. If we explored the site individually, we might not gain as much from the divinity transformation site. Elder Yunhua looked at Lin Yazoo. I'm sorry, dear friends. Naturally, I also want to explore the divinity transformation site. Unfortunately, I know myself well. I've just advanced to the nascent soul stage. I can't compare with the veteran nascent souls. So I'm not planning to participate in the exploration of the divinity transformation site. I must disappoint you with my refusal. Lin Yazoo shook her head, firmly refusing. She knew herself well. At best, her fighting power was equivalent to that of decent early-stage nascent soul cultivators. Compared with mid-stage and even late-stage nascent soul cultivators, she didn't know how inferior she was. If she really went into the divinity transformation site, she didn't know whether she would be lucky enough to come out alive. For her, it was better to practice step by step. There was no need to venture into divinity transformation site. What? Hearing this, Kongqing Old Ancestor, Elder Yunhua, Shangguan Old Ancestor were stunned. They did not expect Lin Yazoo to refuse so straightforwardly. However, they had expected this in their hearts, and didn't find it too surprising. All right, if friend Lin does not want to enter the divinity transformation site, we won't force you. If you change your mind in the future, you can still contact us. Elder Yunhua smiled slightly. Of course. Lin Yazoo nodded, maintaining her courteous attitude. An hour later, the group, satisfied with food and drinks, said their farewells. Before leaving, Kongqing Old Ancestor and others left a token of the nascent soul ancestors of the Wuji Alliance and also an appointment letter from the Wuji Alliance, which completely gave the Tri-Star Islands to Lin Yazoo. No longer needed to pay any management fee to the Wuji Alliance. One could say that these seas had become Lin Yazoo's independent kingdom, no one was allowed to intervene. In fact, these were the rights and benefits of the nascent soul ancestors in the Wuji Alliance. After advancing to the nascent soul stage, they became like kings, true high flyers. With a large amount of power, they had few obligations. The grand strength of the Wuji Alliance came in part due to the numerous nascent souls. Every nascent soul cultivator is a king. The Wuji Alliance, in fact, was formed by an alliance of all these kings, each having absolute rights and freedom. Even nascent soul cultivators who didn't agree with the decision of the alliance could choose not to execute it. As for the alliance hierarchs, naturally, they would be the strongest nascent souls. Now, Lin Yazoo had also become the upper hand in these seas. Like a chess player, she could control the pieces at will. Chapter 417 Advanced Nascent Soul Body Cultivation, Dragon Elephant Heart _3. Whether it was power or status, everything had undergone a tremendous change. The change in attitude of the Wuji Alliance was the perfect example. Whoosh! A flying boat quickly left the Tri-Star Island group, heading towards the ruins of divinity transformation. Clearly, Kongqing Old Ancestor, Elder Yunhua, and Shangguan Old Ancestor were here just in passing. The place they really wanted to go to was still those ruins of divinity transformation. Since they have done their duty given by the Wuji alliance, they naturally would leave immediately without lingering. Husband, what do you think? Lin Yazue turned to look at Zhou Sui, intending to seek her husband's opinion. These matters have little to do with us. For us, cultivation is the most important. There are so many nascent soul cultivators who are focused on the ruins of divinity transformation. If we get involved, we would undoubtedly attract significant trouble. Moreover, if we're lucky enough to obtain any treasures from the ruins, the trouble would be even greater. Zhou Sui spoke in a deep voice. Naturally, he wouldn't foolishly involve himself in such matters. In fact, he had secretly dispatched his clone to send the Array Heart Gu into the ruins of divinity transformation. However, for the Array Heart Gu to completely infiltrate the formation of the ruins of divinity transformation isn't something that could be accomplished in a short period of time. Because he had underestimated the complexity of this fifth stage formation. This was not just a typical fifth stage formation but a high-grade third stage formation. The complexity of the formation can be regarded as the pinnacle of the mortal world. Even the Grand Masters of formation of the mortal world in the ancient era had only a few who could master this type of fifth stage formation. So, complete assimilation of this formation would definitely take a lot of time. Therefore, he was not in a rush. Anyway, according to the power of the fifth stage formation, those nascent soul cultivators would not be able to break it in a short period of time. I think so too. Exploring the ruins of divinity transformation is still too dangerous. With the resources we have now, my cultivation can improve rapidly. There is no need to rush. Lin Yazue also nodded in approval of this. In that case, let's go and cultivate intensively. After all, I have only recently advanced to the late golden core stage. I hope you, as a nascent soul cultivator, could give me some guidance. Zhou Sui rubbed his chin, looking at Lin Yazue's graceful figure. Since her promotion to the nascent soul realm, her body has been bathed in the qi of creation, further improving the quality of her body, while becoming even more perfect and her skin smooth like silk, which was captivating. It could be said, the current Lin Yazue was as mature as a fruit, making one want to take a bite. Pfft, you pervert! Lin Yazue's face reddened, and she flinched slightly, her eyes playful. She turned and walked towards the bedroom, her graceful figure swaying. Not long after, Zhou Sui and Lin Yazue were deep into intensive cultivation, advancing their cultivation base. 5 years later. Tri-Star Island Group, Immortal Mist Sect, Immortal Mist Peak. At this time, Zhou Sui sat cross-legged on the ground, with the dragon elephant Gu in his body being nourished by strands of mysterious blood energy. Having advanced to the third class, high-grade dragon elephant Gu, the blood energy it boosted each month was much stronger. It could be said that his body was getting stronger month by month. Its effects were even better than any body tempering skill. When the last strand of mysterious blood energy was infused into Zhou Sui's body, his body, which had been accumulating for many years, had reached the stage where quantity changes lead to quality changes. This was like the last drop of water that broke the dam. Boom! In an instant, Zhou Sui felt a tremendous change in his body, and he immediately realized he had begun the third evolution of his body. The evolution this time was at least 10 times stronger than the previous 2. Because this time, it was his heart that was evolving. He detected countless mysterious blood energies rushing into his heart, causing an unimaginable transformation of his heart, as the internal blood and energy became more concentrated. At the same time, it released unparalleled heat as if it were a microscopic sun. Centered on his body, the temperature in the surrounding hundreds of meters rose sharply to at least several hundreds or even thousands of degrees. The ground was scorched by this heat and even turned into molten lava. The entire quiet room at this moment seemed to turn into a furnace, burning red hot. This is the dragon elephant heart. Zhou Sui's heart shuddered. He observed countless mysterious runes sinking deep into his heart, turning his heart dark golden. The faint silhouettes of an ancient true dragon and an ancient divine elephant seemed to appear. All of their power converged deep within his heart, perfectly fusing into one. Thud! 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 With each beat of his heart, it seemed to generate a terrifying sonic force. With every beat, an invisible force spread out, producing a dreadful shock power. The walls of the entire quiet room started to crack, making crackling noises. It was as if the heart of a true dragon and a divine elephant was beating, containing enormous power. If an ordinary cultivator were to hear this sound, they would undoubtedly be shaken to the point of fainting. At this moment, his internal blood also underwent a complete change. Due to the change in his heart, a large amount of mysterious blood surged from his heart, replacing the ordinary blood, and in its place was the dragon elephant blood, appearing dark gold. Chapter 418. Advanced Nascent Soul Body Cultivation, Dragon Elephant Heart _4. Each droplet of his dark gold blood contained terrifying heat. Wherever a droplet fell, it was as though lava had landed, capable of burning through and even melting the floor beneath. The power in my body is too strong now. Zhou Sui clenched his fist. He could feel that his muscles, bones, and internal organs had all undergone an astonishing metamorphosis and evolution, and there had been a geometric increase in his own strength. At this moment, a phantom image of the dragon elephant seemed to emerge from his back, as if a real dragon and an ancient divine elephant were spiraling around him. This terrifying power solidified, distorting the surrounding natural spiritual energy, and produced a tangible pressure. It seemed as if the gravity within thousands of kilometers had increased. And this was still the result of his utmost control. If all of it were to be unleashed, everything within 1,000 miles would be under its domination. It seemed that now, he could easily obliterate a mountain with a single punch, and the force of just the punch alone could destroy an ordinary defensive artifact. At this moment, his strength could no longer be described by kilograms. If a description had to be made, his power had already exceeded 1,000,000 horsepower. That is to say, a punch from him would be like the explosive force of 1,000,000 horses erupting at the same time. This was something beyond the imagination of ordinary cultivators. Nascent soul body cultivation. Without a doubt, this could be considered as being equivalent to the nascent soul level body cultivation. The third time his body evolved, he had advanced from golden core body cultivation to the nascent soul body cultivation realm. As one could imagine, this rate of progression was beyond comprehension. My body's defensive strength has also improved. Now, my body's defense is probably on par with that of a lower grade defensive spiritual treasure. Wait, my skin has developed an elephantine divine barrier, and even a dual layer barrier at that. Zhou Sui clenched his fist, feeling the robustness of his body. His skin seemed to flow with a dark gold light, and even more divine elephant runes appeared on it. Many divine elephant runes gathered together to form a mysterious barrier that enshrouded every corner of his body. This was a passive defense. At this moment, his skin seemed to be radiating 2 layers of dark gold light. When he was in the golden core realm of body cultivation, there was only 1 layer. Now, 2 divine elephant barriers had been cultivated. Clearly, since advancing to nascent soul body cultivation, the defensive strength of his skin had leveled up again. He was getting closer and closer to developing elephant skin. Skin like this could not only easily withstand the attack from a sword or spear, but also resist the attack from a skill, minimizing the damage from the skill to the greatest extent. Ordinary attacks landing on his skin would be blocked by the layers of the divine elephant barrier. The emergence of the dual-layer divine elephant barrier was like wearing double-layered bulletproof vests. Even if the enemy's attack pierced the first barrier, it could not penetrate the second. So powerful! Now, even if I stand still, others just can't beat me. With a movement of Zhou Sui's heart, he took out a top-grade artifact-level flying sword from his body and lightly slashed at himself. A clanging sound was heard. Sparks flew, and this sharp, unparalleled flying sword was actually unable to break through his skin barrier, not even capable of breaching the first layer, as it was easily deflected. Even if he used force, he could not cut through it. The toughness was beyond imagination. It was as if his body was clad in a defensive spiritual treasure. Is this legendary divine beast's defense? No wonder very few people can break through the body defenses of a divine beast, it really is too unusual. Zhou Sui was astounded. No wonder the divine beasts of legends didn't wear any defensive artifacts on their bodies. With just their formidable bodies, they could easily withstand various attacks from the enemy. Unless a specifically targeted artifact is used, don't even think about breaching the body defense of a divine beast. All kinds of attacks falling on the body of a divine beast would be like raindrops, unable to cause any harm. He was having a similar feeling now. He felt exactly like a humanoid divine beast. With his formidable body alone, he could be fearless in the cultivation world. Even the most powerful body tempering skill could not compare to his current divine elephant body. One could say that he was continuously evolving towards the physical fitness of ancient divine beasts. This was already beyond the imagination of countless cultivators. Chapter 419. Nascent Soul Territory, Bloodline Divine Power _1. It seems that my vitality and healing abilities have also increased. At this moment, Zhou Sui continued to explore the changes in his own body. Besides the staggering transformation in his strength, speed, and defense, he felt the most significant enhancement was his body's healing power. While he hadn't reached the level of regenerating lost limbs, his body already possessed exceptional healing capabilities. Should his body sustain an injury, it would heal rapidly within a few seconds. Even if his body suffered unimaginable injury, as long as his heart hadn't stopped beating, most of his injuries would heal overnight. This was the true mystery of the dragon elephant heart. This unique heart endowed him with formidable vitality and remarkable healing abilities. Even ordinary toxins no longer affected him significantly. If lethal poisons entered his body, they would be burned by his robust vital energy and reduced to ashes. Each heartbeat strengthened his vitality. Wait, is this the power of the nascent soul realm? At this very moment, Zhou Sui had a realization: his body's power had undergone further transformation. He had advanced from the golden core realm to the nascent soul realm. This was a quantum leap forward. Boom! Near instantaneously, he sensed his soul power becoming unprecedentedly formidable. The ferocious ripple of his soul easily spread over 1,000 miles. An invisible force seemed to be enveloping a 1,000-mile range. If this was earlier, this power could only slightly influence the flow of nature's spiritual energy. But now, he could effortlessly control the spiritual energy of nature within 1,000 miles, incorporating the force of the surrounding nature into his own. This realm of power was entirely different from what he had previously, it had increased more than tenfold. This is the mystery of the power of a nascent soul realm cultivator. Before advancing to nascent soul, all cultivators could only control the mana within their bodies to fight. But upon reaching the nascent soul realm, one can control the forces of nature, claiming the power of nature's spiritual energy for oneself. That's why, every move of a nascent soul cultivator can affect the celestial phenomena. A single strike can obliterate a 1,000-mile range, causing terrifying destruction, like a human-shaped nuclear bomb. Zhou Sui was in awe. He felt the unparalleled might from his own nascent soul realm. It was like the dragon elephant realm, easily manipulating the forces of nature for battle. Swoosh! Thinking of this, his figure flashed, immediately leaving his own quiet room. Because this small quiet room could no longer contain his current power. Just like a river couldn't contain a real dragon. In a short time, Zhou Sui left Immortal Mist Peak, entering the depths of the mountains on Water Spirit Island. After all, only the periphery of Water Spirit Island had towns and cultivators living in it. As for the inside of the island, it was still a deserted, uninhabited area. This place made it convenient for him to spread his wings. Good, let's test my current strength. Zhou Sui focused his thoughts, and with a light palm strike, his hand reached towards a distant peak. Instantly, he felt that he had grasped the spiritual energy of nature within a 1,000-mile range in his own hands. Infinite spiritual energy converged into his palm, then gathered into a horrifying power. Just a single strike, an invisible force descended from the sky, ruthlessly striking the unnamed mountain peak ahead. Boom! This unnamed mountain couldn't withstand such terrifying force and was instantly flattened, with a clearly visible gigantic palm mark left on the leveled ground. The entire ground was booming and shaking. This scene seemed like a primitive giant, effortlessly crushing the mountain with one hand. Too powerful! Zhou Sui was deeply shocked. Although he knew that the power of a nascent soul body cultivator was horrifyingly strong and beyond imagination, he had just taken a stab at it and realized the incredible power he possessed. Now, he could probably hold his own against an average nascent soul cultivator just with his body's strength. Reaching the nascent soul realm not only made his body even more abnormal, but also enabled him to control the power of nature's spiritual energy, generating the terrifying power of the nascent soul realm. But the benefits brought by the third evolution are not just so. The enhancement of bloodline power does not just promote my body's evolution. It also enabled me to develop 2 bloodline divine powers. Zhou Sui felt 2 vast pieces of information from the depths of his bloodline, entering deep into his sea of consciousness. This was precisely the power of his bloodline, which made him instantly understand his own body's power. The so-called bloodline divine power is a unique power possessed by creatures like the demon clan and divine beasts. They knew how to manipulate this power as soon as they were born. It was as natural as breathing. No need to understand the principle behind it, they just naturally learned it. Of course, bloodline divine power, essentially, is a kind of skill. The reason it is so strong is because it's a high-level application of a skill. Human cultivators need to cultivate a skill to the highest realm to transform it into a divine power. Theoretically, every skill has the potential to advance to the level of divine power. Chapter 420. Nascent Soul Territory, Bloodline Divine Power _2. Of course, that being said, very few cultivators manage to cultivate their skills to the level of divine arts. That's why the divine arts of monsters are so powerful, far surpassing the skills mastered by human cultivators. This is one of the reasons why monsters' battle power is so formidable. It takes human cultivators years of relentless exercise to master a single skill. However, monsters are born with the power of divine arts, requiring no rigorous cultivation. The starting points of both parties have been different from the outset. Of course, not every monster possesses a bloodline divine power. Only those monsters with rich bloodlines may develop a bloodline divine power. Such monsters are considered nobility among the demon clan, their battle power far exceeding their peers. There are 2 bloodline divine powers in total, one is riding the clouds and mist, the other is warfoot. Zhou Sui squinted his eyes, minutely sensing the divine power brought by his bloodline. Although the power of the bloodline divine power is as instinctive as breathing, it differs from breathing in fact. It is more similar to humans walking. If one does not practice constantly, they cannot use the divine arts smoothly. Whoosh! In an instant, Zhou Sui used the divine art riding the clouds and mist with a simple thought. Immediately, he felt his body wrapped in a cloud of mist, even becoming like mist itself. The next moment, he was flying in the sky, turning into a streak of light, traversing hundreds of kilometers. So fast, it's just too fast. In an instant, Zhou Sui appeared in the high sky 100 miles away. With his eyes wide open, his heart was filled with shock and awe. On the surface, riding the clouds and mist may appear to be just a type of escape technique, a flying skill. But in reality, the power of this bloodline divine power is unimaginable. It surpasses any escape technique he knew of, and is even faster. It's at least twice as fast as the escape light of a usual early-stage nascent soul cultivator. The reason for its speed is due to riding the clouds and mist involving the mystery of a hint of void power. It was as if he had become one with the clouds, merging with the void. When he was flying, he felt no resistance in the sky at all. That's why the speed of the bloodline divine power riding the clouds and mist is unbelievably fast. What's more, the mana required to use this bloodline divine power is not much. Other flight and escape techniques require a great deal of internal mana. Therefore, these techniques cannot be used constantly. Most early-stage nascent soul cultivators still rely on flying boats for transportation. After all, if they rely on their own mana for travel, it's easy for them to be completely drained. If they encounter an enemy assault when their internal mana is depleted, they are doomed. Therefore, it's better to use a flying boat for commuting, since it consumes only the energy of spirit stones. For early-stage nascent soul cultivators, the one thing that they are not short of is spirit stones. However, the bloodline divine power riding the clouds and mist art allows you to easily tap into the power of nature's spiritual energy. This way of utilizing nature's spiritual energy is absolutely profound. This also ensures that almost no mana from within oneself is used when employing this flight art. It hardly takes any mana, at most it consumes a bit of physical strength. No wonder the real dragons in the legends are said to fly with the aid of riding the clouds and mist. So this divine art is this powerful. Zhou Sui was astonished and thrilled beyond measure. When he used this divine art, he felt as if he had transformed into a real dragon, commanding the clouds and easily soaring between heaven and earth. Truly, the ingenious uses are endless. No wonder the bloodline divine power born from the dragon elephant bloodline is exceptional. Right, the second divine art should be warfoot from the ancient divine elephant. This should be an offensive divine art. Zhou Sui's eyes shone with excitement as he carefully felt the power of the second bloodline divine power. Unlike the first bloodline divine power riding the clouds and mist, this divine art is not an auxiliary type, but an authentic offensive divine art with terrifying power. With these thoughts, he had no hesitation and immediately used this bloodline divine power. At that moment, he landed on a mountain peak, his right foot gently pressed down on it. Boom! An invisible fluctuation exploded from his body, instantly enveloping thousands of miles around him. This area immediately began to tremble tremendously, causing a horrific earthquake. The area spanning thousands of miles rumbled, the earth shook, swaying back and forth. Even the entire water spirit island showed slight vibrations, as if an earthquake had occurred. The mountain peak where he was, couldn't withstand the terrifying force of the earthquake and collapsed instantly. The earth also split open instantly, revealing a fault line stretching hundreds of miles long, a frightening severity. It was as if the earth had been split in half. Is this the bloodline divine power war stomp? Zhou Sui was dumbfounded. He found this bloodline power from the ancient divine elephant to be utterly terrifying. The war stomp from this bloodline divine power carried unparalleled destructive power. With a light stomp, an invisible sound wave force would erupt, sweeping across the universe. It even implicated a bit of void energy. Thus, the destructive power of this bloodline divine power was increased by more than tenfold. Moreover, this was an area attack. Any enemy remaining in this area would be assaulted by this power. If they couldn't resist, they would be instantly destroyed by the invisible shockwave, torn apart and dying in a bloody explosion. This was the power of the King of War, the ancient divine elephant. Its destructive power was terrifying to the extreme. What's going on? What exactly happened? Why did the Water Spirit Island suddenly experience an earthquake? Could it be that a cultivator has intruded into Water Spirit Island? The source of the earthquake seems to be over there, let's go check it out. At this time, the appearance of the earthquake also alerted Lin Yazhu and others. They were all in the midst of cultivation. But now, they were immediately interrupted by this invisible seismic force, all awakening from their practices. They were worried if an intruder had appeared. Whiz! 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 Shadowy figures instantly left Immortal Mist Peak, flying towards the source of the earthquake. In no time, they found Zhou Sui hovering in mid-air. My lord! Lin Yazhu and others immediately knew that the earlier vibration must have been caused by their lord. At the same time, they also sensed the powerful aura emanating from Zhou Sui, carrying a terrifying pressure. Just like a god of this universe. A true dragon and divine elephant seemed to emerge behind him, releasing the terrifying power of the divine elephant. It's okay, I just had a breakthrough in my cultivation and out of excitement, I released a divine art. Zhou Sui was excited when he noticed Lin Yazhu and others, saying enthusiastically. A breakthrough in cultivation? Could it be that my lord has advanced to the nascent soul realm? Lang Yuexi was utterly amazed. She felt the gap between her and her lord's cultivation growing wider. In front of him, she felt like an ant facing a nascent soul ancestor. But currently, her lord's cultivation should be merely the golden core realm. There's no breakthrough in cultivation. However, my physical conditioning has indeed broken through. I should now possess the strength of a nascent soul body cultivator. Zhou Sui said with a slight smile. What? Upon hearing this, the eyes of Lin Yazhu and others instantly revealed an excited light. To be honest, a nascent soul body cultivator and a true nascent soul cultivator aren't much different. Apart from having no substantial improvement in lifespan, if we're discussing combat power, it's equivalent to a nascent soul cultivator. Even stronger than ordinary early-stage nascent soul cultivators. They never thought their lord's progress was so fast, it was truly beyond imagination. No way, is it real or fake? It actually attracted the heavenly tribulation. At this moment, Zhou Sui seemed to have discovered something. He felt a sudden unease in his heart and couldn't help but look up. Above the sky, dark clouds covered an area of 100 miles around, without knowing when they had formed. Within the depth of the dark clouds, streaks of heavenly tribulation's energy seemed to be emerging, hidden yet visible, as if they were about to descend at any moment.